Welcome. So today we're unpacking a truly chilling piece of regional folklore in this explainer. We're looking at the legend of the Mecho Bhoot, the absolutely infamous fish-eating ghost of Bengal. If you love discovering those dark, hidden stories that rural communities have been whispering about for generations, and, learning exactly how these legends are structured, well, you're in for an absolute treat today.
Let's start with a really crucial question. Picture this. What actually happens when a city family completely ignores the terrifying, ancient rules of a remote village? Our source material begins with basically a classic setup for horror. It's a dark, stormy night. Tapan, who's a newly transferred subdivisional magistrate from the bustling city of Calcutta, arrives at this remote riverside village with his family. The rain is just pouring down, the mud is thick, and that inevitable clash between city skepticism and rural superstition, it is about to begin.
Right out of the gate, the village caretaker, an older guy named Bhuvan, delivers this incredibly eerie early warning. He tells them, "The riverbank may look beautiful, but it is better if you do not look that way." Imagine arriving at this gorgeous riverside bungalow, and literally the very first thing the caretaker tells you is to avoid looking at the water. It sets a profound sense of dread right from the start, doesn't it?
Okay, let's dive straight into this. Section: Arrival in the Storm. A dark and stormy night by the river.
Through the pouring rain and the slimy mud, things quickly stop making any sort of sense. The atmosphere described in our source is incredibly vivid. Thunder is roaring so loudly it feels like the river might just swallow the whole village whole, and there's this unnerving darkness surrounding their new home. So Bhuvan comes out to meet their car, right? But he flat out refuses to ride with them if the driver takes the route near the river. He insists on walking the muddy village paths instead. But then, as the family drives along the riverbank, they clearly spot Bhuvan walking out there in the pouring rain. Yet when they finally reach the bungalow, Bhuvan miraculously arrives from the back entrance with his umbrella, claiming he never went anywhere near the water. It's the first impossible supernatural event of the night, and it leaves the family super confused while perfectly setting up the unease.
And you've got to realize this is not some slow burn. The pacing of the horror in this folklore is relentless. Just look at how fast this escalates. We've got night one with the stormy arrival and the impossible sighting of the caretaker. By the very next morning, physical evidence of the supernatural appears. And by day three, during just a simple market trip, the family is directly targeted. The horror escalates incredibly fast, giving this city family absolutely no time to adjust to their new reality.
Moving right along. Section: Warnings and Backward Footprints. The mystery deepens the next morning.
So, the storm has passed, and the young daughters, Sugandha and Indrani, are looking out their windows, admiring the calm, beautiful river, completely unaware of the danger. But outside the house, Bhuvan makes a chilling discovery in the thick mud left behind by the storm: fresh footprints. And the truly terrifying realization here is the direction. The footprints don't lead from the house to the river, no, they point from the river, coming straight up to the doors of the house. Something came out of that dark water in the middle of the night and walked right up to their home while the family slept.
And guys, this brings us to a seriously terrifying cultural concept: Tapan. As Bhuvan points out to the skeptical mother, these are not human footprints. The prints are made by backward feet. In Indian folklore, Tapan is a classic, undeniable sign indicating the physical manifestation of a demonic entity or ghost. This specific clue basically confirms Bhuvan's worst fears. They aren't just dealing with local superstitions anymore. They are being visited by something deeply malevolent.
Which leads us to our next part. Section: The Girl by the River. An alluring trap is set.
After the mother basically waves off the caretaker's warnings as total nonsense, she goes about setting up the house. A couple of days later, she sends her 16-year-old daughter Sugandha to the local market for fresh fish. It's on this routine errand that Sugandha encounters a mysterious local by the water. But get this, it isn't a decaying monster, it's the exact opposite. The girl has these large, coal-lined eyes, a thick traditional braid, and a captivatingly beautiful face. She doesn't even speak at first. She just communicates with a mysterious smile, looking Sugandha up and down and nodding silently when asked if she lives nearby. It's a classic predatory lure, completely disarming and mesmerizing. Then, out of nowhere, the girl makes a strange, highly specific demand. She simply asks, "Will you give me fish?" Before Sugandha can even fully process this bizarre request, her younger sister Indrani calls out to her. When Sugandha turns her head for just a second, the beautiful girl completely vanishes into thin air. There's no one there, just the empty riverbank.
All right, things are escalating. Section, The Ghost's Dark Demand, a terrifying walk home in the dark. Delayed at the market after picking up the fish and some sweets, Sugandha is now walking home in total darkness. Now, in regional folklore, walking near water at night while carrying raw fish is the ultimate forbidden act. The sensory details that follow are just horrifying. As Sugandha nears the river, she notices sudden, violent ripples in the black water. Then, this overwhelming, suffocating stench hits her, like rotting fish dumped right in front of her. She quickens her pace, but she realizes a dark shadow is walking right alongside her. Suddenly, a heavy tree branch violently snaps and crashes down directly in her path, blocking her way. The pacing of the terror is really accelerating here, perfectly matching her rising panic.
So, the crucial point is, who or what is following Sugandha in the dark? Let's just take a breath for a second. She's completely alone, clutching raw fish in her hands, her heart is absolutely pounding, and she's trapped on this muddy path with no easy way out. "Give me the fish." An angry, aggressive, disembodied voice echoes in the dark, right next to her ear. The beautiful, quiet girl from the afternoon is totally gone. This is raw, predatory aggression. Her mind goes entirely numb with fear. Sugandha doesn't even remember how she runs, but she sprints for her absolute life, pounding on the doors of the bungalow until her sister lets her in, and she just collapses on the floor in sheer terror. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the duality of the Mecho Bhoot. First, we see the alluring river girl, beautiful, quiet, using a mysterious smile as deceptive bait. But once that sun goes down and the prey is isolated, the mask drops, revealing the true, rotting nature of the stalking entity. It becomes this violent, aggressive force demanding its prize.
Which brings us to the climax. Section, A Terrifying Transformation. The monster enters the home.
So, after foolishly dismissing Sugandha's terror as just silly ghost stories from the caretaker, the mother, Mandakini, tells the girl to go to sleep. But deep in the night, Mandakini wakes up. She hears these strange, wet, squelching noises coming from the kitchen. Assuming a stray cat or maybe some animal has gotten into the house to eat the fish they bought, she creeps down the dark hallway. She fully expects to just shoo away a hungry animal, but she finds something far, far worse. There, sitting in the dark kitchen, is her daughter Sugandha. But she is clutching a raw, bloody fish in her bare hands. Half of the raw fish is already eaten, literally bitten straight through the scales. Blood and fish guts are smeared entirely across her clothes and her face. And when she looks up at her mother, the innocent girl is gone. She glares with a demonic, terrifying expression that is entirely unnatural. And then, from Sugandha's mouth, comes a voice that is absolutely not hers. It says, "I was hungry, she fed me fish, now I will live with her." It's a bone-chilling final line. The entity tricked the girl, stalked her, and has now fully possessed her. The Mecho Bhoot has bypassed the locked doors and claimed its vessel. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, leaving us with a deeply unsettling thought. Once the Mecho Bhoot takes hold and claims a host like this, is there literally any way to break its dark bond? Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating and terrifying corner of regional folklore. Keep questioning, keep learning, and maybe, just maybe, think twice before walking near a river at night with fresh food.